Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk about a few things regarding The Walking Dead Season 10 finale and possibly the beginning of Season 11 in regards to Ezekiel. Now, there's a few different things to cover, but one of the biggest topics I believe I'm getting a lot of private messages about is the man in the iron mask. I don't know if it's iron. I mean, it sure as hell looks like it. But a lot of people are saying, is this Morgan's son? There's always weird theories popping about, but we're going to debunk that rather quickly in a second. But is this Morgan's son who's dead? Is this Maggie? Is this a guy named Mercer, who is someone from the Commonwealth? We're also going to debunk that. Is this Claudia? Now, Claudia, I believe that's her name. She was in a spinoff that revolved around Rick Grimes' brother, Jeff Grimes. Now, that has nothing to do with the TV show. As a matter of fact, like I mentioned to a member of the channel, I think he would be one of the first that hit me up. Anyone we cover in here, even if you don't like their theories, a lot of people like to just have fun, so they just pick like wild shit, you know? Like, this would be wild if it was true, I agree, but again, legally speaking, AMC doesn't have the rights. That's not covered. I don't believe it would be covered, even if, because Kirkman partnered with a person named Brian K. Vaughan. Brian K. Vaughan did not write this. Now, with the old lawsuit between Todd McFarlane and I think his name was Neil Gaiman, Todd McFarlane created Spawn, and somewhere around like issue 9, 10, or 11, another writer came in and wrote an issue or two. Inside that issue, he wrote a character named Angela, and then they went to court over it because Todd McFarlane just assumed, or believed, I own it, it's Spawn, I created the world, and yada, 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 which I also would have thought that as well. And I was shocked, and I'm sure he was shocked to figure out, no, the court agrees that if you bring in a writer and they create a character, that person owns it, even if it's, in that world. So Brian K. Vaughan wrote Alien, it was called, the spinoff, The Walking Dead Alien. AMC doesn't own the rights to that. I would imagine they would have to get in touch with Kirkman and Brian K. Vaughan and do some type of deal and buy the rights to incorporate that. AMC's not going to do that. Kirkman's still suing AMC over money. That's not going to happen. So legally, IP, it's not the case. Even if it wasn't, just based off of having fun with it, this is a character that we never met. We read the spinoff, and that's canon to the comic, but that has nothing to do. You can't just make it canon to the show. It doesn't work like that. The Rick on the show is drastically different than the Rick in the comic, what they've all done. Now, since the worlds didn't collide, you could say that counts for something, but it just doesn't. So I don't want to burst your bubble. I know he private messaged me, and I burst his bubble right away, but it's not Claudia from the Alien. If it is, hell, I'll eat grass on a live stream. Next up, we got a lot of people saying it's Duane from The Walking Dead Season 1. Duane was in the first episode, and that was it. He was Morgan's son, and Morgan had to put down his wife, and that was the whole story arc there. And then Morgan returned. I guess they're trying to say, if you look at Morgan's return, somehow Duane, who never met his dad at this point in time, would dress similar to him because they father and son. I don't understand the logic behind that. But we can't play much of this, so I'm going to put my headphones on just so I can make sure I'm hearing the same thing you guys are hearing. I rewatched this, and oh my God, it blew me away, the performance. We can't play too much because AMC will take this down, but we're going to run through why it's definitely not Duane. One, without a doubt.
We was always looking for food, it always came down to food.
Yeah, I started off. Love that. It always came down to food. Now he's going to talk about how he went into the cellar. He didn't want Duane going into the cellar. And then when he comes up,
she was standing there right in front of him, and he had his gun up.
This man is tortured and tormented. I have to stop it for reasons. He's tortured. Look at that pain in his eyes. This isn't something where he thinks he saw a kid.
And he couldn't do it. So I called to him. And he turned. And then she was just on him. And I see red.
She was on him. He was there. He turns. He had his gun up. He couldn't even shoot his own mother. And then she was on him that fast, and he sees red. Now, he's not talking in symbolism. He sees blood. He's being eaten, ripped apart, mauled by his own zombie mother. If, for the sake of shock, you could do whatever you want. I mean, they ruined Star Wars by bringing Emperor Palpatine back. You can do whatever you want if you're in Hollywood. It doesn't matter. As long as you're snorting enough coke to think it's okay in the right now, do whatever you want. So I'm sure Angela Kang could go, Duane, that would shock people. But you retroactively destroy this performance. He is tormented. Why? Not because he thinks maybe the mom killed his son. Because he knows it. He saw it. He had to bury his kid. He saw the blood. He goes on to say he shot his wife. What's it?
I see red. Everything is red. Everything I see is red. And I do it.
And I do it. Talks about finally. Finally. He couldn't do it before. Rick gave him the gun. He told him to do it. And he put his wife down finally. This is his arc. This was his snap into PTSD and just making him crazy. And he had to clear from that point on. Again, that is a heavy importance of his arc. Morgan's arc continued for episodes after about how he has to clear. He doesn't just clear because I got to kill these zombies. He's clearing because of that psychological damage from not clearing his own wife out of the area, not clearing the area. Beautifully done. Fucking beautiful. Beautiful performance. This will go down. No matter if you're watching it today, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, it rips you from the inside. It's an excellent performance. You ruin that just by saying, I want to shock people and have Duane show up. I know a lot of you in the Matt family are probably excited. I'm sorry I'm being a bitch about it. It's just because I love this scene. So this is some of the best of the best when it comes to The Walking Dead. And you destroy it for just shock. So it's Duane. Now, so that's out of here. Get out. The next reason people, or the next person, I hope I have this right, we find out in the comic this New World Order with this girl in charge, and she has like generic stormtrooper looking people. And then we got this guy. Now, the reason people say it could be Mercer is because of his commas. They're like cool looking axe hatchets or whatever, but the character that shows up he or she has these comma sticks that look pretty cool. Now, other people say Connie, get out of here, man. She was a deaf girl on her own who is out there surviving. To show up like this, it's like, this isn't your character. Where'd you get the mask, bro? Where'd you get the comma sticks? Did you train with some new group in 2 days? It's not Connie. It's not anyone, and it's not Mercer. Now, I am wondering why they have similar weapons. It leads me to believe they're just going to have them both have the same weapons. They've done that before. I talked about that with numerous characters having similar weapons, and sure enough, The Walking Dead has done it. Even as far back as Daryl and Dwight sharing the crossbow, and them, because it was a signature weapon in the comic and on the show, 2 different characters. They made it work. They can make it work, or they could just have Mercer not have those weapons. He doesn't have to have them. It's not Mercer because of 2 reasons. One, look at this shrimp. That's Mercer? Get out of here. 2, there's no reason story-wise to have Mercer from the Commonwealth show up out of the blue here. There's no logical reason for it. Why? Because the radio is the connective tissue leading our group to the new community. If they have Mercer showing up out of the blue, you don't need the radio. The radio, the satellite, all that storyline they spent time building up is completely gone just because you wanted Mercer here. It's not Mercer. I personally feel it's Maggie. Why do I think it's Maggie? Well, the person is kind of slim, and also, most important, it could be Maggie or a new character. I think we're getting so many characters. I don't see the reason for a new character. We just got Princess. It could be a new character or Maggie. Those are my 2 picks. Maggie, because if they knew Lauren Cohan was going to come back, but they needed to film this scene, but they didn't have her available yet to film this scene, simple. She shows up, hooded, get a body double to do this. We see Aaron and Alden go, ooh, who's this? And then the person takes off their mask, but we don't see it, but we see their reaction. Stand-in can actually, a body double stand-in can film that without Lauren Cohan even there. And then later when Lauren Cohan can actually come and film, we see her in this gear, and when it reveals to us, the audience, who it is, it's then Maggie. You know what I mean? And that would show that when Maggie is reading the letter, it's not synced up at the same time as the action that's going on here. Because that one scene that people were talking about with the voiceover, a lot of people said, Ronnie, don't knock that scene. It's just a commercial. It's not. It's an actual scene from the episode. Editing takes a lot of time. It's very expensive. They had a commercial, a trailer. They're not going to just edit this random. It's an actual scene from the episode. Again, if I'm wrong on that, damn, that's shocking. But it's a definite scene. And the reason why I complained, if you missed it, we left off on a cliffhanger with Aaron and Alden surrounded, and in that scene it shows them instantly free, and it says it's the opening minutes. So that means they got free and we don't see how, which again, they had a gun to their face 2 inches away. I get bothered by little things like that. So I think this person is Maggie. And you guys put your thoughts and opinions down below. I would love to hear them. Just moving on really quickly to season 7 and how it might connect with Ezekiel. In the trailer, we do see them at the train yard. I don't think there's enough time to do the train yard and one final hoorah battle with the Whispers and get to the Commonwealth, because in the comic book, they get to the train yard, they get surrounded. This is when we see the stormtrooper people. I think that will be the finale for the cliffhanger for where they lead it off, or they can take them to the gates of Commonwealth. And if they take them to the gates, whether it's at the end of season 10 or the beginning of season 11, if they take them to the gates, I got out of order here. This belongs over here. When they get to the gates, Michonne, it was already set up in the comic. She sees her picture on the wall. Eugene sees it. And Michonne finds out her daughter, surviving daughter, she had two daughters, hung her photo up on the wall. Now, we don't need that setup. We don't need characters with family members that were missing and they went looking for them. In the comic, they only did it to tie in a video game. And then it fit perfect here because it was like, well, boom, then we can re-tie the video game into the comic this way. How could they correct that in the TV show that I think is on the money, or not on the money, but a perfect idea story-wise? Who's sick? Ezekiel. Ezekiel's with them. Eugene and them come up to this wall either at the end of season 10 or the beginning of season 11, and maybe it's the cliffhanger for the premiere for season 11, and Eugene's like, Ezekiel, you need to come over here. And Ezekiel walks over, and boom, we get a picture of Ezekiel dressed maybe like we know he was in a zoo with maybe him in a zoo gear or something like that, and it's a note attached to it. If you've seen my brother, if you've seen my uncle, if you've seen this person, contact me on Baker Street, it says in the comic. Why is that important? Ronnie, did you just pick a random character? Nope, because it ties in to Ezekiel being sick and needing the medical. A lot of people asked me before, Ronnie, why do you think Ezekiel going on the mission means that his cancer would be cured at the Commonwealth? Well, if his family member is already a citizen that's well liked or respected or this, that, and the third within the community, that citizen can pull their weight. The Commonwealth could, and this is where they start forging that bond. Okay, well, it's not free, it's kind of expensive, so we'll do this, but we're going to want to meet with your community and form some type of trade or some type of yada, yada, yada. Having Ezekiel needing that surgery, having our group nervous about this bigger group, but saving Ezekiel, they'll agree to it. And we have a little bit of conflict. And you know Hollywood loves conflict. That's what they teach you when you go to learn screenwriting. They literally torture you and they repeat over and over. Conflict is king. Anyhow, so that's pretty much most of it. Last thing I want to say, yes, I do believe, feel, and hope Beta does not go out like a punk-ass bitch like he did in the comic. He was just trying to make out with Jesus, I think, and then Aaron shot him. He says, I got your back, yo. He's like, I got you. And then he picks Aaron up off the ground, and Beta just jumps up yelling, I have no name, because they realized he was a famous basketball player. And then he falls to the ground looking kind of like a bum. He kind of looks like Trailer Trash Bum or something. I don't know. I could picture him with like a 30-pack of beer or some shit like that. Anyhow, I'm hoping they keep Beta alive for season 11 and he can be some type of little threat that's out there but attack differently. Instead of the horde and the war, they can be stalking on the patrol roads. And why? Because this syncs up with the new connection they have with the Commonwealth. If Beta's out there and he's attacking and killing people on the patrol road, and we're bringing the president of this new community, and this is an important thing. You don't want Beta attacking them on the street. What if this community that's huge, that can wipe us out without even breaking a sweat? You don't want them thinking that it was us who betrayed them. Hence, now every scene when they're traveling back and forth has tension because Beta's somewhere out there and we can see him a bit. That's what the direction I'm hoping they're going. You guys put your thoughts and opinions down below. I've been moving away from prediction videos and speculation videos, but I've been getting a ton of questions about this, and I'll admit, I did have fun with this video. I did have fun. It was like the good old days. But we're moving ahead with the new main series on this channel, Flaw and All reviews for movies, shows, and maybe possibly comics, maybe sorta. And also we're going to be promoting the Doomsday Kingdom comic. If you're interested in that, we just launched the pre-launch. That's I'm the creator writer. James Milne is the artist from the UK. We just put up the pre-launch where if you go and sign up right now and you go on to later back it, you get an exclusive piece of art that you can't get on our website. So check out Indiegogo. I'll put links down below. And gaming streams also, we did a poll and it has been decided those are going to be moving over to my personal channel, Ronnie Hayes. So just to let you know, the main stuff on this channel, Flaw and All reviews, baby. All right, have a good one. Stay safe. Be safe. Wash your hands. Wash your ass. And don't go ass to mouth, baby.